Hi there, Leroy. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Just fine. Let me get my screen set up here.
Always the fun part, getting everything set back up.
So, is Jim going to be joining us tonight?
Don't know. I do
Okay.
not know. I was hoping for an email or something, but so far nothing.
Okay.
So we know as much as we did last week at this point.
Okay. Well,
Hopefully, hopefully a few other people will pop in here and
okay.
yeah, yeah. No, nothing in the emails.
So, you got all your Christmas preparations done?
Um, Not really. No,
I always feel there's no point in rushing into these things.
not really. This, you know, we used to, on occasion we've been known to go out on Black Friday and do some shopping and whatever. This year, just it was just like, nah, let's just stay home.
Yeah, probably a good choice.
It just, I don't know. I have never really been one to want to go to shop. Patty has always been the one that wants to go and shop, but you know, I, Christmas we usually go out and go shopping and whatever. So to me, it wasn't a big deal just to sit on Amazon and look at for stuff or eBay and look for stuff. Patty's like, I'm bored. I'm bored. Let's go
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah, I was real happy when Amazon came along because I despise shopping and I despise dealing with the clerks and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so Amazon was a great breakthrough as far as I was concerned. You could sit in your chair and you could sort things, and they were all logical, and they allow you to do a lot of comparisons. And of
yeah,
course, over the years, it's gotten more and more where you can get other buyers' feedback and so forth and so on. You have to obviously you have to apply some judgment to that. I mean, some of the reviews, it's always been amazing to me to figure out how somebody who gave that review actually managed to get from the bed to the breakfast table in the morning.
well,
but, but I love, put it this way, if I have to shop, I much prefer the virtual experience to the getting in the car and going out and dealing with the crowds and so forth and so on. So,
I used to tell Patty. See, I absolutely, I loathe Walmart. I hate it with a passion. But I
hmm
used to tell her, you can go to like Walmart. There's certain things that you have to buy, like, you know, for instance, clothes.
hmm
Those you almost have to buy those in person. You can't buy those online.
yeah. Well, some things you can. I mean, socks and underwear and so forth and so on, I suppose you can buy.
But I told her the great thing about Walmart is you can go and you can touch and you can look at the stuff and then you can go and buy the stuff at Amazon for 10 to 20% cheaper.
Yep.
So we have somebody waiting called Mugga. I have no idea who Mugga
Oh, I
is.
know who that is. That's Barry.
Oh, is that Perry? All
Yeah,
right.
that's Barry. He uses There we go. Hi,
Mugga,
Barry.
huh? Mugga isn't talking.
Well, he's
Oh,
he
look,
just
he even muted himself.
yeah. He he uses that handle on the the Linux users group meetings.
You guys picking on me?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that's you, right, Barry?
Yeah.
I had seen that handle used on the CLUG group, so I figured it was you.
I have not seen that handle, so I was like, we have somebody named Mugga.
Yeah. So how's Barry doing?
Oh, not too shabby. How you guys doing?
Uh,
Just sitting here doing as little as possible.
I'm contemplating virtual shopping. That's about
Yes.
it.
Virtual shopping.
You know, Amazon, eBay, that sort of thing, as opposed to Walmart, the mall, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I just I you know Amazon wanted to they wanted to build a little showroom thing, and I'm like, yeah, see that kind of makes sense because people still kind of want to go and touch and see this some of this stuff before they actually buy it.
well, the one
But
thing that I miss with the virtual shopping, and this is silly, but I miss bookstores. I used to my my great entertainment. The one kind of shopping I liked was to go to a bookstore. On the other hand, if you do the same kind of thing on Amazon, you got a much larger selection and so forth and so on. The only problem is, of course, um, I don't know. I suppose you can buy used books on Amazon,
Oh,
but I love to hang out in these old stuffy, smelly used bookstores that had all kinds of treasures you could
the
find there. And
the closest we've got probably is half price books.
yeah, there's one in Kenwood. I don't know where else they are, but there's one in Kenwood. I know.
there's one in Beachmont.
Yeah, there's one
Where on beach? Oh, it's on Beachmont. Yeah, it's down there
Yeah.
someplace around where the Home Depot is. I think,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's like the place like right beside it, like the next one down.
Yeah,
Um, little plaza. There's a. You ever been to the one in Columbus? There's a. I can't remember, like Pal's Books or something.
I grew up within walking distance of where the one is on North High Street across from Graceland Shopping Center.
Oh yeah,
Now there's one also out.
I'm in Germantown. I don't know if that's on High Street
Uh,
or not.
that's not no, that's not Half Price Books though.
Well, yeah, it's not a
There's
half price book, but you were talking about you like the old bookstores. It's like that's
oh
about the
yeah,
best bookstore in Ohio, I think.
yeah
Yeah,
that in Germantown is called the Book Loft,
that's
and
it.
it is it's kind of like the Winchester Mystery House where they have just buildings have been built together and rooms have been added and so forth and so on. You can get lost walking through the place.
Oh yeah,
That was nice. Now, I haven't been there, obviously, haven't been there this year, but I haven't been there in, I would guess, 3 or 4 years, something like that. There are two features of Germantown or um, that I particularly like. Actually, they have a different name for it than Germantown. But it's the Book Loft and Schmidt's
Schmidt's pastry shop
sausage.
or sauce. Yeah,
Yeah, the
what you're talking
sausage.
about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they have pastries there, but they also have uh, buffet German or Germanic at least food. But no, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, so I'm pretty
Oh,
familiar
that's
with it.
cool. I didn't know if you'd been around that. The only other bookstore I've seen that comes anywhere close to that is I think it's a real big bookstore in Portland. I want to think it's Pals.
Yeah, I think I've
But
been there also. I've been to Portland several times. Of course, that's right up the coast from us.
yeah,
It's about, well, when I say right up the coast,
yeah,
it's
it's several
probably
hundred
six or
miles.
700 miles north of us.
Yeah,
That's right
It's
up the coast. that's
yeah,
that's just a
well,
day's
people.
drive.
I think non-Californians don't realize how long the Pacific coast is.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I realize how long it is when there was a trivia question on one of the game shows, and I was the only one in my family that got it right because I realized how big California was, and
yeah,
it was something about the distance between 2 points. Is it further away at this point or at this point? And I was like, that one, the first one is California because it's 1,000 miles or something like that from top to
yes.
bottom.
Actually, I think it's a little more than that. But well, a number of people, when people find out that I live in California, they say, "Oh well."
It's all right there in one little central group. You're right in LA, aren't you?
Yeah, well, they talk about like L.A. Well, how often do you get to L.A.? Well, I think I was there a decade ago or so. And I said, well, how come it's so close? I point out that I live in what is called Northern California, but is actually North Central California. There's still 700 or 800 miles north of us in California. And I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. And the distance from my house in the San Francisco Bay Area to LA is less than the distance from here to Chicago. Here to Chicago is about roughly 320 miles, something like that, depending on where you're starting from. And the distance from my house to um, LA is a bit over 300 miles. And if you go to Orange County, which is where Disneyland is, close to 400 miles.
Yeah.
So I've got a brother-in-law that lives in Orange County, and I think it's 420 miles door to door from uh, our house in Fremont to his house in Orange County, El Toro. So
Yeah. Yeah. You,
it's a
you
it's a much bigger state than the states that are on the East Coast.
well, people don't people don't think about it being tall, skinny. You know, when they say California, they're thinking just how wide it is.
Well, even that
And it,
is pretty substantial. If you go from the Pacific coast to the Nevada
yeah,
line, I think you're wider than you're about the same width as across Ohio.
yeah, yeah, it's a couple hundred miles, isn't it?
Yeah, something like
Two
that.
hundred and 50 miles, something like that. But
Well, by
but you're
road,
thinking, especially out here on the East Coast, you're thinking, oh, well, that's not that bad. That's only a couple hour drive.
yeah.
When, but if you're talking about from you know San Diego to the top, you're talking what 1,200 miles? Not
Yeah,
quite.
probably
Yeah.
something like that.
And San Diego's is probably the furthest down, maybe.
Well, you still got a ways to go to get to Tijuana. So, but you're right. That's essentially. But but the other thing is that San Francisco and the San Francisco Bay Area is not Northern California. Somebody else just showed up.
Yep, Vicente's coming.
Oh, Vicente has shown up. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey
Hello.
there, Vicente. How you doing?
Right. How you doing?
Anything new?
Everything is new.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Okay.
No. Yes. Same thing. I don't even believe that there was a week.
Yep.
Everything is so slow, so
So
fast.
you've been busy?
Yeah,
You've been busy?
I was working in the landscape, pruning and cutting bushes and cutting my finger also
Oh, really? What'd you? Oh,
a little bit.
yeah. You're not. You're supposed to keep your fingers out of the way.
Yeah, I got lazy at some point. All the day I was using a handsaw, pruning the pines, and I don't know, just an accident.
You should get a pair of those those cut-proof gloves
Nah,
like they use,
no,
like butchers use these days. That are practically impossible to cut yourself with.
no, but it's hard to work with them. I don't like it to use gloves. And usually you do woodworking, and it's dangerous to use gloves because you lose the feeling of the tools and the wood and everything. Sometimes it's dangerous.
When I was in graduate school a long time ago, they one of the areas that I worked in was cryogenics, and they specifically trained us, do not wear gloves, because what happens is if you spill liquid nitrogen or liquid oxygen or some cryogenic fluid on you, you'll freeze your hands and you can't get the gloves off.
Okay.
And it will, it's an easy way to lose
Your
fingers. So we were specifically trained,
Yeah,
no gloves.
that's correct. You saw you guys saw the SpaceX launch yesterday. The
Yes, you're
was
talking about one that went up and then came down a little hard.
Yeah, but it was amazing. I was
Oh yeah,
impressed. Yeah,
oh yeah,
they need to solve several problems, but I think they did very well.
oh
Mostly,
yeah. Well,
mostly.
you can't make omelets without breaking some eggs. So I mean,
And
but no,
and the size of these things was amazing. This
yeah,
really big, really.
it's SpaceX's batting average has been amazing as far as I'm concerned. I don't know whether it's just careful engineering or whatever, but their success rate is just incredible.
They have
And
a system of try do innovation fast. Just try new
yeah,
stuff every day. They try new stuff. They have almost another I think seven starships in production
yep,
to test different things in the process. So, wow, it's amazing. I was amazed by the control of all the missions. You know, they
Yeah.
predicted everything, all the movement, all the stabilization of the ship, the the movement of the flaps was amazing. Was amazing. They almost did it in the last second. You know, they need more trust at the end. They have several pressure problems or something, but wow, they were really close, really close.
Well, I think they've now passed their 100th Falcon launch also.
Okay.
100th Falcon, successful
Yeah,
Falcon launch.
impressive.
And I don't know how many relandings they've had, but I don't know, 30.
70 or something, 70,
Yeah.
70 reused rockets, or 70 landings of the rocket.
Successful landings.
Yeah, yeah,
They all land eventually, but
yeah,
this successful landing.
yeah.
Every landing's a successful one.
Right.
It's the relaunch part that's a problem.
Yeah. Gravity eventually takes hold. But I'm really impressed with their engineering team, though. I must say
Yes, it's impressive.
they've done very, very, very well.
According to Wikipedia, he has had 68 successful landings and 78 attempts
Wow,
Uh-huh.
with the Falcon 9.
Yeah.
great.
So that's a pretty impressive success rate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they are improving, you know, because the unsuccessful was at the beginning in the first launch. No, recently they almost did all of them perfect, you know.
Yep.
So they are improving a lot. Interesting.
I didn't watch the launch. I missed it, but I read something where it sounded like um, Elon Musk was expecting at least part of it to fail.
Yeah, he saw that he was expecting 30% of success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So he's spending a lot of money to learn more about how to make it 100% successful.
mhm,
Yep. Yeah.
very.
Very impressive.
Mhm.
And on average, I think the launches are less expensive than ones that who is it? United Launch.
Alliance,
Yeah, Launch Alliance or whatever it is.
they have troubles.
Um, yeah, the other rocket company congratulated him for something that SpaceX had done.
Yeah, Blue Origin
Yeah,
from
Oh,
from
Blue Origins. Yeah.
yeah,
Bezos.
Yeah.
yeah. They
They,
released
they, they, they
a
they
public
compete.
statement.
They compete, but they like each other. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, they
They
can.
released a public statement that really sounded like they were
Right.
congratulating him on being successful in his test, even though it he knew it was going to fail.
Yeah.
And even they said it was impressive. So
Yeah.
you've got leaders going, hey, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Uh,
I see the news now. I can share the
yeah,
uh, share screen. Here it is. Share. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Bezos, Jeff, Jeff Bezos
Yeah.
compliment Elon Musk.
His competition.
Yeah.
Does that rocket not remind you of something like right out of the 1950s though?
Oh yeah,
Sci-fi era.
it's like it's definitely out of 1950s science fiction, no question about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Rocket ship XM.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to put in U-block origin.
So, what's that?
NASA, please stand by. That's the outer limits. Please stand by.
There we go.
What I don't get is why they don't turn them like into some kind of glider.
I am looking for the launch, but I don't see. I don't see the Starship rocket. This is in the news. It's fly.
I think you just passed it on the right there.
This one?
There you.
No,
There.
but this was the
I think if you go to that link, it'll link you to the latest launch.
okay. This is
Oh,
the actual
It's
camera.
still live.
Yes. Maybe we survive if we were in the con here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people will survive if they were wearing some kind of fire resistant clothes or something. You don't have audio, right? It's live, the live camera. Nah. I'm going back. I like this space stuff. A lot of things going on.
Are you going to go live on Mars when he gets ready to do that?
To visit you or what?
I can't go.
Okay.
I won't have the money to go.
I have a meeting here. I can't go.
Well, you can always do it by Zoom.
Do you imagine have this meeting with 8 minutes delay?
Yeah. Yeah.
A big dish pointed at the Earth. I hope I get you. I hope I get you. I just think that the design of the ship, it's interesting that he took that like right from sci-fi movies of the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Flash Gordon, that's the guy.
Yeah, maybe Flash Gordon.
Do you think that stuff was fake back then?
Hush, Barry.
Good point.
If you remember, if you recall the video of that era, it looked fake whether it was
Yeah.
or wasn't.
It was like plumbing inside the ships. There were a lot of plumbing and valves and pipes.
Rocky
Oh, yeah.
Jones. I mean, his spaceships. You could see the wires as they moved them around.
Yeah, yes.
That's so next week they could be a different ship.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Yep. Well, it was very exciting then. So
Is there a picture of his tunnel making machine? Because I'm wondering if he took that from like the 50s.
Any of you remember the Space Giants?
Space Giants.
Was a Japanese movie or a Chinese movie?
I don't remember that.
Let me space.
Space Giants.
There were a family of robots that they changed between rocket and like Transformers. Let me show the.
It was like a Transformer kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's a very Japanese kind of thing.
yeah.
Oh, they're even fighting Godzilla.
What's this that Barry just put up?
Let me show the
Yeah,
stuff.
Space Giants. IMDb. That's the Space Giants. You're not sharing your screen.
I can hear the sound, but I don't see the picture.
The precursor to the Power Rangers.
There's Godzilla. Godzilla. Is that? Oh, that's wonderful claymation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Yes.
Oh, there he is flying.
Look for the rocket.
And he's completely creepy.
Mm-hmm. Space Giants.
Oh, no, that's not their rocket.
Here,
That's a real rocket.
Look, these three
Yeah.
rockets. There. The father, the mother, and the son.
Oh, and we have the silver costume that every sci-fi show of the 50s had to have.
Oh, yeah.
That made you think that they were very high tech.
High-tech aluminum foil there.
That's pretty awesome. Oh,
What happened?
yeah, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. I never really watched a whole lot of the Japanese sci-fi, mainly because I didn't really like subtitles.
No, but they were translated by the time, I think.
That one looks like it would be fun to watch. just because.
Ultraman.
Buck Rogers in the 25th
Oh, yeah,
century.
Buck Rogers was what, mid-50s, something like that?
Yeah, he went on into like the 80s, the mid 80s.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember watching him when I was a kid, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad science fiction. It was 80s science fiction, which is bad science fiction now.
I don't know. Philip K. Dick is still great as far as I'm concerned as a science fiction writer. And they've reworked those themes a number of different times so that they have modern video
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, there's a series of them now on Amazon Prime that are included in Amazon Prime that you can watch.
Yeah. There were a lot of shows that I watched when I was a lot younger that I didn't realize were Philip K. Dick. And then after I found out, I got a bunch of his books and stuff.
Batman
Yeah.
was my favorite.
Batman.
Who's this?
Batman.
Batman.
Well, he started out in a comic book,
Mhm.
and then it migrated to video and so forth and so on. But that was originally around as a comic book, I think. Oh, gee,
Most of them.
probably wasn't in the 50s, but could have been in the 60s or 70s.
Batman was, I don't know, it was a comic book.
Yeah, I think that comic. It's interesting, you know. You talk to comic kids about comic books these days, and they don't know what you're talking about. You know, I can remember. I can remember having.
Can I see them in the iPad?
That's true. Yeah, right.
Batman originally appeared in Detective Comics number 33 in 1939.
Wow.
Really? So it goes way back. Huh?
Yeah, I thought it was in the 40s, but yeah, it
Wow.
goes back a little bit further than I thought. I'm a big Batman fan.
In the 50s, comic books were very, very, very popular.
Yeah.
And there were zillions of them. I mean, you go to the drugstore and they had just racks and racks of comic books. I don't know if you can even find a comic other than a comic book store.
Not
You
yet.
go to a collector's
They are
store.
collectors of everything now.
Yeah, but I don't think you find actual comic books in a regular drugstore, bookstore, whatever these days.
You can look for them in eBay or.
Yeah.
But they are still new editions of comic books because there are people that still collect them and like them.
Well, Stan
Lee.
Lee.
Yeah, he just died. What
Yeah.
a year or so ago?
Yeah.
Very recently.
Recently, yeah.
I think he was well into his 90s and had been active since the 1930s or 40s, someplace along in there.
Wow.
He died November 12th, 2018 at 95.
Wow, 2 years. Well, this year doesn't count.
This year doesn't count.
We are just removing.
Yeah, right.
That's why.
all
worked.
all the records for this year.
Exactly. Forget about it.
You see nothing.
All the records for this year have an asterisk next to them. Okay.
Delete.
Yeah, Stan Lee, of course, a lot would say he was one of the greats, but he worked with a lot of the greats from that era. From the comic book era.
Yeah.
From the big comic book era.
I was going to say he was active. You know, in certainly the late 30s, I believe.
Yeah. It says his. I'm trying to read it fast. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it probably was the late 30s. So it looks like he had, 39. 39.
Yeah.
Because it looked like he had some assisting jobs and some other jobs doing like some of the pulp magazines and whatever of that time. So
Yeah, the pulps were very popular in the 30s and stayed popular through, I guess it was the early 60s, and then kind of faded out. There are still residue of the science fiction pulps of that period
yeah.
today. I mean, Analog and I think Galaxy's gone, but Analog is around and Asimov is around,
Mhm.
and
Some
they've
some of those had great stories in them by a
oh,
lot of people that we know now, but were unknown back then.
oh, absolutely, and they still have pretty decent stories in them, but it's like any magazine, you have a mixture of good with
Mhm.
not so good. But
Some feeling just to keep the size of the magazine
yeah,
stuff.
and magazines are a shadow of their former self.
And they're
Looks like we're down to
expensive
two.
now.
Pardon?
Magazines are expensive. If you go to like Kroger or somewhere and pick
Oh
up a
yeah,
magazine, they're like $12 for a magazine.
yes, yes.
It's
And
crazy.
if you get something from like the UK, like some of the Lennox magazines from the UK, or uh, like the Raspberry Pi magazines and
Hmm.
so forth and so on, they're very expensive. We're down to 2 minutes there, by the way.
But
Yep.
they also use a very good material, you know. The quality is very good of those things they used to.
Yeah, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I much prefer the ebook version myself.
Mhm.
You don't have to store them. I mean, you can find what you're looking for, and you don't have stacks and stacks of old magazines sitting around.
I used to collect National Geographic
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
piles and piles of magazines.
I used to have a bunch of QSTs. I don't know why. I don't know why I kept them, but I had a bunch of them. Just stacks of them.
yeah. I still get the
Uh,
QST as a paper magazine, but I've tried to break myself of the business of accumulating. But if you go to a garage sale, I think you still get stacks and stacks of National Geographics.
My
Okay, we're at 49 seconds, 47 seconds.
Yep.
So we
Yep.
go to plan
We're
B.
watching it. We're planning, sort of. We
Okay.
sort of have a plan.
wow, yeah, 1 minute.
Everybody ready to switch over to the other
Yeah.
thing. I'll get it started and everything here, and we'll
You
make the
can
switch painfully less as possible. Or
you
What do
can
you do?
have,
Just
that
run
didn't
it?
work.
You just run it on a different machine or what?
No. I actually I click on a different thing over here.
you can have both open at the same time.
Nope. I'll see you in a minute.